Caitlin, the Biden administration has suggested a delay. Meanwhile, some experts worry about caving to the demands of the Chinese Communist Party. What's the significance behind Pelosi's potential visit?
Abigail, John, a trip to Taiwan would be the first by a sitting House Speaker in 25 years, when then-Speaker Newt Gingrich visited the island. As second in line for the presidency, Pelosi's presence would send a strong signal of support for Taiwan's independence.
I think that it's important for us to show support for Taiwan. I also think that none of us has ever said we're for independence when it comes to Taiwan. That's up to Taiwan to decide.
While Pelosi has not confirmed a visit, initial reports suggested an August timetable. And President Biden himself recently indicated the speaker should wait.
I think that the military thinks it's not a good idea right now, but I don't know what the status of it is.
Over the weekend, Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley warned that China's military has become significantly more aggressive and dangerous over the past 5 years. But experts say it's unlikely the Pentagon would ask the speaker to cancel a trip.
We're going to have to absorb some kind of negative reaction from the Chinese, probably be worse than previous periods, but we can't imagine that it's going to be war.
Some concerned over the timing of a visit cite August as being the anniversary of the founding of the People's Liberation Army. There's also an important decision in November when the ruling Communist Party is expected to grant President Xi Jinping an unprecedented third term. Walter Lohman, director of the Heritage Foundation Asian Studies Center, points out there will never be a time frame when the CCP supports an official U.S. visit to Taiwan, and President Xi has nothing to prove.
He's in a very strong position within the party. He's about to get his third term, and he's putting a down payment on a fourth term. He's consolidating power within the CCP. I don't see him as weak at all. I don't see him having to demonstrate anything.
The Biden administration, on the other hand, can't afford to show weakness. And Lohman says that would be the message if Pelosi cancels her trip.
First of all, it puts a lie to what we tell the Chinese all the time. That is that we have divided government in the United States. We have co-equal branches of government, and the president of the United States can't make the Speaker of the House go or not go. It's up to her. The second message it sends, and this one is really one that will be heard loud and clear in the region, is that there's a new sheriff in town. Chinese don't want us to go to Taiwan. They tell us don't go or we'll, unspecified, cause you trouble or whatever. And the president of the United States convinces the speaker that not to go.
President Biden has a phone call scheduled with President Xi in the coming weeks, and there's speculation that he's balking on Pelosi's trip out of concern the call will be canceled. Lohman says it's much more important in the long run that China understand it can't determine the parameters of U.S. foreign policy. Abigail, John.
And we will be watching. Thank you so much, Caitlin. We'll hear now from more author, columnist, and speaker Gordon Chang. Gordon, welcome to Faith Nation. As we just heard in Caitlin's reporting, a speaker of the United States House of Representatives hasn't visited Taiwan in a quarter of a century. What would a Pelosi trip mean?
A Pelosi trip to Taiwan would show that the United States is not afraid of China. China has made this a test of wills with the comments that it's made both publicly and in private over the last week. And so I think at this particular time, unless the United States decides to submit to China on a number of things, because Beijing's not going to stop with just Pelosi's visit. So unless we're willing to submit to China, she has to go. She has now, I think, made this an important element of American foreign policy.
Well, Gordon, today Taiwan held air raid drills, which just so happened to come amid concerns over the possibility of Speaker Pelosi's visit. What message is Taiwan sending with these drills?
Well, Taiwan, since the invasion of Ukraine, has put a lot more effort into civil defense. It's belated, of course, but this is a good sign. The United States needs to spend a lot more time thinking about how to defend Taiwan and helping Taiwan to defend itself, because we have kept Taiwan weak. We've done that for a number of reasons. I think that it's been misguided. But right now, whatever one thinks of prior policy, the situation across the strait is dangerously imbalanced, with China building up its military very quickly and with Taiwan not keeping up.
Gordon, you tweeted today, crises with China, whether over Taiwan or anything else, occur when China wants them. Is that what you see China is looking for in this situation?
Yes, because Beijing has looked at the disarray in the Biden administration and thought that it could do what it wants, that it can determine outcomes in Washington. It started with the fall of Afghanistan. It also continued with the failure to deter Vladimir Putin from invading Ukraine. And the Chinese, who generally think that we're done anyway, now have confirmation of that. So they have a very aggressive Chinese foreign policy establishment right now. But also, I think Xi Jinping has real problems at home. And so therefore, he has a lot of incentive right now to actually create some military misadventure abroad. Remember, he's accumulated all this power, as Walter Lohman just said. That means he's accumulated responsibility. Things are not going China's way. And Xi Jinping is being blamed for that. So I think that he could use a crisis right now.
So real quickly here, in about the 30 seconds we have left, do you think this trip will go on as planned?
I really don't know. There is disarray, obviously, in the Biden administration. You know, I just can't predict whether they'll do the right thing or not. I'm afraid that they will take the easy way out. They'll get Pelosi not to go, and we will hear many more demands from Beijing. This is not a good situation for us.
Well, Gordon, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights today.
Thanks, Gordon.
Thanks, John and Abby.